Good day and God bless Miss Isabel Paiso. I'm Queen Lindy Bitacura, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. So together with Miss Janna Batog, we will be reporting the Unit 7, which is entitled Keywords in Domains of Learning. So academics divide the mechanisms of human learning into three domains, which are, as you can see in the screen, which are the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain. So when we say cognitive domain, so it refers to the intelligence or the knowledge of a particular person or student. While the second one, we have the affective domain. So it refers to the attitudes, values, and beliefs of a particular learner. While the last one, we have the psychomotor domain. So it refers to as the physical skills or psychomotor skills. So it requires physical or bodily movements. Now, each of the domain can be organized from the least complex things that a learner has to do to the most complex things, which is called to us hierarchy. So, and we use the word here taxonomy, which can be referred to as the hierarchy. So, actually, the meaning of the taxonomy, so it refers to classifying organisms into categories like classifications of plants and animals. But here in our topic, in our discussion, we refer taxonomy here as the listing of the hierarchy of objectives within a domain. So let us see about what does it mean in the next slides. So we have here the first domain, which is the cognitive domain. So Bloom in 1913 to 1999, a Jewish American educational psychologist, formulated in 1956 some keywords, which later revisited by his former student Lauren Anderson in 1990. So to carry out the learning objectives along in the cognitive domain in keeping with the trends of the 21st century. So Bloom's taxonomy was originally published in 1956, and the taxonomy was modified each year for 16 years after it was first published. So here we can infer that Dr. Bloom really played a central role in transforming the field of educational psychology. So Bloom was really interested in what and how people learn, in which he proposed the framework to help understand the major areas of learning and thinking. So as he first classified them into three large groups, which is the cognitive domain, the affective domain, and psychomotor domain. So si Bloom yun ang nakauna ani nga idea about the mechanisms of human learning, in which there are a lot of modifications or changes of his concept with the help with the other behaviorists and psychologists. So we have here the second paragraph. The learning objectives is expressed in a manner that the assessment is on the first encounter of the learner on the words, situations, and any events until the cognition process reaches the point of analyzing the interconnections of whatever comes to senses. So here we can infer that cognitive involves intellectual skills and organizes those skills in a hierarchy based on a degree of complexity. So here we can say that the cognitive domain, it really it has something to do with thinking. So it commemorates a process of deliberation which is focuses on mind. So it is more on critical thinking skills or high order thinking skills of a person that a person may develop. So next, so Here, so this figure shows the classification of the levels of thinking behaviors that are thought to be important in the process of learning. So this is the Bloom's taxonomy, which is formulated by Dr. Bloom, originally published in 1956. So here in the cognitive domain, it includes remembering and familiarizing specific facts, content, or concepts that help develop intellectual abilities and skills. So here the levels which are arranged from descending order into ascending order, from the bottom to the top. So we have here the first step, which is the remember or remembering. So it is about recalling facts and basics concepts. So it is more on recognizing and recalling facts or any information. So here the behavioral keywords are to define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, state, and etc. So we have another step, or the second step, which is to understand or understanding. So it is about explaining ideas or concepts. So the behavioral keywords are to classify, describe, discuss, explain, identify, locate, recognize, report, select, translate, and many more. While in the third step, which is, or the third level, which is the apply or applying. So it is use of information in new situations, such as to execute, to implement, solve, use, demonstrate, interpret, operate, schedule, and sketch. While the next step, which is to analyze or analyzing. So it is about drawing connections among ideas. So its behavioral keywords are to differentiate, organize, relate, compare, contrast, distinguish, examine, experiment, question, test, and many more. And we have here is to evaluate, which is about to justify a stand or decision. So its behavioral keywords are to appraise, argue, defend, judge, select, support, value, critics, or to weigh down things. And the last step, which is the final step of the cognitive domain, which is to create or creating. So it is about to produce new original work, or it is about combining parts to make a new whole, or building a structure from the different concept, or to produce. It's about to produce an original work. So here same rin ni siya ato sa kaganihang cognitive domain, but in a form of mind map or mind map concept. So here we can nakita nato diri ang the 6 levels of the cognitive domain. So an example of this, the process of cognitive domain, like a student in a history class. So, di ba, when a student in a history class, so he will able to remember or to familiarize the facts of the Philippine history. So he will go first about remembering or familiarizing the basic concepts or any details or information, and then write an essay about it. Like so diha nga pamaagi sa pag-write niya an essay about it, he will able to review or analyze or critique such information. So he will undergo this to understand, to apply, to analyze, evaluate, and to create. So evaluate and analyze the theme and important details. So until to the highest level, so the student would base his or her understanding from the lower levels to create, in order to create an original interpretation or perception out of the topic. So in order to create an original work or idea about it. So in order for a student to create an original work or perception or opinion about it. So he will need to undergo all of these steps. So this is the part of the process of the cognitive domain of the human learning. So we have here the second domain, which is the affective domain. Rothwell in 1964 is perhaps the famous advocate of the affective taxonomy of learning. With Bloom and Meisha, he introduced the behavioral keywords under each category of the affective domain. So these keywords are suggested as the guide in the formulation of learning objective along with the affective domain. So here it was gipasabot diri ani that the integration of ideas among behaviorists. So as you can see, nag-integrate ang idea with the Rothwell, with the Bloom and Meisha, diba, to create this idea or concept about the affective domain. So affective domain is a second-hand book after the first, which is called the cognitive domain. So it is already an extension of the Bloom's original work. So this domain focuses on the ways in which we handle all things related to emotions such as feelings, values, appreciation, enthusiasms, motivations, and attitudes. This is according to Clark in 2017. So as I have said a while ago, affective domain, so it refers to the attitudes, the values and beliefs of a particular person. It refers to as the sentiments or the emotions of a particular student or learner. So next, so here this figure shows the hierarchy of the levels of the affective domain arranged from the lowest to the highest level, so from the bottom to the top again. So there are 5 steps or 5 levels of affective domain. So here first we have the receiving, which is some of its behavioral keywords is to choose. So receiving, it is about becoming aware of this or sensitive to information. So it would be a material or phenomena and the willingness to tolerate them. So willingness to give attention by choice. So, diba, when you receive receive an information, so you give willingness to listen to it or attention to it. So it's your choice to receive it or to believe in it, like that. So the second step, which is the responding. So the behavioral keywords here are to confirm and to react, and there are many more behavioral keywords about this. So responding, so it refers to the committing to some actions towards information or situation. So like so as an individual, right, as a learner, so you are exposed with the different informations or the surroundings all around you. So you take the responsibility to do some effort or obedient and to be ready to respond to the possibilities. So we have here the third level, which is the valuing. So some of its behavioral keywords are to initiate, to report, and many more. So dili lang ako tagsa-tagsaon kay daghan kayo to. So valuing, so it refers to us it is about you are as an individual, you are willing to show to others the valued ideas, situation, or within an increased commitment on them. So meaning, as an individual, you value the information or the idea that you have, so you are able to share it with the others. So we have here the fourth level of the affective domain, which is the organizing. So here some of the keywords are behavioral keywords are order, or to orders, and synthesizes. So organizing, so it refers to as it is relating to the newly acquired values with those of the previous and with the previous ideas and harmonizing them in order to form a philosophy in life. So meaning as an individual as you receive a lot of information, beliefs or opinions from your surroundings, so you are going to integrate it in your own. You are going to kibali harmonize them and to create a personal idea or personal philosophy in life. So the last step of the affective domain, the last level, which is the characterizing. So some of its behavioral keywords are influences or question and many more. So characterizing, it refers to as overly acting consistently with the organized and internalized set of values and formulated philosophy. So it as an individual you are able to articulate a philosophy and integrate it to your own. So we have here a mind concept about the affective domain. So you can, as you can see, the receiving, responding, valuing, and organizing, characterizing serve as the main branches, as the main levels of the affective domain. Then nagkasumpay-sumpay na dayon ang mga awareness, listening, attention, participation, and so on and so forth. So here, at the lower levels, so the person is aware to the subject exists, so then choose to pay attention to it and responds to it with the goodwill. So at the higher levels, the person makes an effort to interact with the subject, and then he will going to apply it and making it a determining force in his or her life. So for an example of this affective domain. So for the same situation, like an history student would begin becoming aware and believe that the history or kind of event from the past really exists. So he will try to believe it that it really exists. So he decide to read and comprehend it and value it and enjoy the said experience. Later on, the student would acquire other stories of the past and read more of them. So his interest in learning more about the history will increase. So at the highest level, the student would come to appreciate the history as something of enduring value and make it a permanent part of his or her life. So affective let's go back to this mind map. Affective objectives help the students to appreciate the lessons or retain them longer and find connections in the real world. So affective objectives in this affective domain, it would also help the teachers to integrate values formation in all subjects and courses. So we have here the last part, which is the psychomotor domain. So which is to be continued by Miss Janna Batog. So psychomotor here, as I said a while ago, so it refers to as the physical skills or body movement. So it involves the adoption of skills requiring a hand-eye coordination in order to perform any physical tasks or activities. So to dig deeper about this topic, it will be continued by Miss Janna Batog. Thank you so much and God bless.